Hey, welcome to my channel. Today I'm going to talk about how to get a job at Goldman Sachs. I need some wine for this. The reason why I'm making this video is because a lot of my personal friends have asked me how I finessed a role at Goldman Sachs. A little bit of background, I was a business major at the Macomb School of Business, and I majored in information systems. I then became a self-taught software engineer and then switched into sales and trading. So I went from being a business major, then going into back office technology, and then switching into front office client-facing position. Honestly, I felt like a fraud in both roles. I don't ever think I've partied as hard or worked as hard at the same time in my entire life. When I worked in engineering, I didn't realize how underqualified I was. I had never taken an engineering class. I had actually taught myself everything I needed to get through the interview. I had networked a lot and I'd proven my ability to code, but definitely interviews are different from real life. No one prepares you for a role like this. The hours, for at least for me, not everyone experiences is like this, and also I had to put in a lot more hours because of my non-engineering background, but I was coming in maybe at 7:55 a.m. all the way to maybe 10 to 12. Not because anyone told me to, but because I wanted to be good, and also the people that you're surrounded by are so brilliant. Whenever I worked in sales and trading, I came in maybe at 6:15, sometimes a little bit earlier if I needed to study, and then I would leave around 6 p.m. So around 12 hours every single day. 14 hours if I needed to always be on my phone answering emails, answering phone calls, anything under that nature. I definitely want to tell people to take everything I say right now with a grain of salt. I decided that I wanted to make the most amount of money with the least amount of time possible, and that this was the best avenue for me. So definitely take everything that I say with a grain of salt, because you shouldn't approach life with a means to an end. You should approach your career with something that is sustainable and something that is much more than money driven or title driven or anything superficial. So the first tip that I did was find the path of least resistance. I've always been into sales and marketing. I'm very much a people person, but I knew that those positions that were more in, front office were positions that I probably couldn't have gotten because my GPA was so low. So I figured that it would be easier for me to teach myself how to code, become a software engineer, and then switch into a different role later on. A little bit of background about, the hierarchy of how things work. There's back office, people that code or kind of build the infrastructure. They're extremely important. You need engineers, so they are definitely valuable to the firm, but unfortunately, a lot of people don't realize that. Then you have your middle office people, so the people who talking between the front office and the back office, maybe like your ops, people that go back and forth. And then lastly, you have front office, which is what you think of on Wolf of Wall Street or The Big Short or any of those big glamorous movies. You have the investment bankers, the sales and traders, people that have a book to their name. So I was able to switch from back office to front office. The next tip I will say is network as much as you can. So I applied to this, I think it was this Leadership Insights seminar where it was for people who wanted to go into human capital management. And I hadn't declared my major yet, so I actually decided to attend this HCM seminar so that I could get to know more people that worked at the firm. Even though I wasn't really interested in human capital, I wanted to learn more about it, and also I've always admired finance and wanted to learn more about the business, even if it was something that I hadn't really known about. I ended up networking and being in contact with someone at HSM in Dallas, or HCM in Dallas, and they were helping me kind of understand the role a little bit. I think after a year or so, I realized I was going more towards the engineering route, and even though I didn't want to go down that route, because of the fact that I'd networked probably a year before, he, or I think it was a she, was able to connect me to someone in the New York office who was more under an HCM as well, but kind of recruiter for engineering. So that one person that I had met was able to give me a recommendation to someone else who was recruiting for the role that I actually really wanted. The next step I will give is follow up 2 or 3 times. I know this is pretty aggressive, but I would follow up with the recruiter or with someone, you know, at least 2 times. Like if they miss my first email, then I'll wait a week and then I'll send another email, and then maybe like a third one, depending on how the conversation went. Don't send a 4th one, like don't be that awkward person. But you know, if I felt like there was a genuine connection, then I would reach out and ask more questions about their role. You want to ask the person that you were reaching out to about their role and their experiences, because if you make it about them, they are more likely to respond to you, as opposed to, you know, talking all about yourself and making this about you. But someone who works there right now should be meaningful to the company, and they can kind of offer some insight to you. I don't really know what else to talk about. So I hope this helps. I can make a part 2 if a lot of people want to comment, but these are basically my experiences that I had at Goldman, and yeah. Cool.